Hello, Church House. It's me, Daniel Hornsby, tuning in again tonight. Just talking about a message about lift people up. It's like always lift people up. Never knock nobody down. You know, the world's always down, trying to knock people down and make them be little so that they can make themselves look bigger, you know. And that's the main reason that people do that. It's a pride ego thing. And as long as everybody else is small, then that makes them feel big. But I hate to tell them that pride comes right before fall. So the best thing to do is just always love people, show Jesus' love, and uplift people. Uplift even your enemies, you know, and that's how you get perfect inner peace, is bless your enemies, you know, and love your enemies, and love everybody, and love your neighbors as you love yourself, and love the Lord above all things. And all the laws are made perfect through them two laws. And, you know, and you don't ever know what somebody's going through. And that's the reason I'm saying don't ever knock nobody down. You don't know what they're experiencing or what's going on in their life. And you could change their lives forever just by uplifting them and putting some motivation and hope into their lives, you know. Because nowadays nobody wants to do that. And that's why we got to be as like Christ-like and share the good news and come forth and show his love. And love others as he loves them, you know. And that's a message tonight that I want to share. And God's always on time too, like the last sermons I did. And the perfect example of this is always uplift, because you don't never know what somebody's going through. Is like one of my brothers named Archie that I used to hang out with, and he was going through it. And one day he was coming into Walmart, Archie was, and he seen some man coming out the door. And as that man was coming out the door, he just decided to uplift him and talk about Jesus. He said, I just stopped him in the doorway and started telling him some uplifting scriptures about Christ. And he said, I just started building his faith. And he said, so once I started building his faith, he said, I just started talking about Jesus and uplifting him. And then he said, and then we just went on about our business. And he said, D, guess what? And he said, I ran into that man again just a little while back. And he said, I want to tell you the testimony about it. He said, I ran into that man again. He said, I asked that man, he said, do you remember me? And that man said, yeah, absolutely, I remember you. He said, you changed my life forever. He said, you stopped me that day as I was going out Walmart. He said, I'll never forget you. He said, I was going through it. He said, I lost my wife. He said, my kids. And he said, everything in my life was going backwards. He said, I had a depressive spirit and a suicidal spirit on him. And he said he was just ready to end his own life. And he said he was just at the end. And he said he had everything prepared just to end his own life. And he said, all because you stopped me that night and started talking to me about Jesus. He said, you changed my mind. And he said, now I got a new wife. And he said, I got my kids back. And he said, everything in my life's going good now. All because he stopped that man in that doorway that night and told him, God bless you in it, and just uplifted him. It made all the difference in his life. And you know, that's why we're here, is to make a difference in everybody else's life. And just show your love